Hey, this is Lapwood here from Snowboard Addiction, and we are going live with our weekly YouTube stream. It is 5:30 PST Pacific time on Wednesday, and we do a live stream every week. We're going to get right into it today with teaching you guys some stuff on the balance bar, and then afterwards I'm going to be addressing all your questions. Two different things we're going to be teaching today are 50-50s with backside 180s out and front boards. And then anything else you guys want to learn, feel free to pop them out in the questions as well, and I will get to all those questions. But let's get into it. So, got the training board set up here with a balance bar and a jib board. And going to teach you how to do a 50-50 backside 180 out. If there's any feedback of like bad audio quality or bad lighting or anything, make sure you give that to us. So, if you have one of these training setups at home, set yours up as well, because then you'll be able to work along with me and ask different questions on how to do different things. If you don't have one, you can still simulate these moves with just your body in the same way that we're doing, or you can also build your own. So let's start with the 50-50 backside 180. I'm just going to demonstrate what this trick looks like. I'm regular, frontside 50-50, backside 180 up. The reason I'm doing this trick today is because we recently released a tutorial on 50-50 backside 180s. It's filmed up this year at the Worcester Park. It's pretty cool. Check it out. But I want to give you the different techniques behind that. So obviously to do a 50-50 back one, you have to be able to do 50-50s first. This is called a frontside 50-50 because you're ollieing onto the rail with the rail in front of you, which is why it's frontside. If the rail was behind you as you ollie on, you'll be ollieing on. This is a backside 50-50. Okay. Now, I can see some of you guys are asking questions there. I'm going to get to all the different questions as well. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes teaching you a few things here, and then I'll get into all the questions. But feel free to ask away. So if you can get up into a 50-50, doing a 180 out is just a way to make it more stylish as you exit the trick and make your rail tricks look better. And so you can obviously 180 out, frontside or backside. And the trick to being able to 180 out of a jib feature is using counter rotation to do your 180. What that means is that with all kind of snowboarding, most tricks either use rotation or counter rotation. And rotation is where your upper and lower body move in the same direction throughout that trick. So for example, right now, if I do a back one, I'm going to do it with rotation right here just to show you the difference. My upper body initiates the rotation, and my lower body follows through in the same direction. So that's a backside 180 with rotation. But I can also do a backside 180 with counter rotation. I want you to spot the difference here. There's counter rotation is where my upper and lower body are actually twisting against each other to make that trick happen. So right now I'm going to do a back one, but instead of winding up for a back one, I'm actually going to wind the opposite direction. And watch here how my upper body and lower body go in opposite directions as I jump. So that there is a counter-rotated back one. I'm going to show you it again. So instead of winding up through a back one, which would be rotation, you're actually doing the opposite. You're moving your upper body kind of towards the tail of your board, and as you jump, your lower body and upper body twist against each other to make that 180 happen. Now, why this is important with rails and boxes is because you need to be able to 180 out the end of jib features. You need to be able to do it with a flat base. You don't want to be getting up on edge on a rail or a box, so you'll slip out pretty quickly. And doing a counter-rotated 180 allows you to be able to spin a full 180 without using any edge. So right now I'm going to do a 50-50 back one, and I want you to see how I counter-rotate that back one out. 50-50, counter-rotate the back one out. Yeah. Now, another thing I want you to pay attention to is where I'm looking as I land that back one. I get up 50-50, and I'm still looking forward right now because that's the direction I'm riding. But as I get that 180 out, watch my eyes where I'm looking. Blind landing, and then I ride away. And for those of you guys who don't know what the blind landing is used on a lot of different tricks like backside ones or 50-50 backside ones to be able to stop your rotation at the end of the trick so you can right away switch. if you do not look for the blind landing, it's very common to slip out in your landing or over-rotate or revert. And that's what that blind landing does. It helps to stop that rotation. So that's a 50-50 back one. Just spend a couple of minutes there. I'm going to get in and answer some of your questions. Throughout these live streams, I'm going to do different demos like that to show you different things. The other one I'm going to do today is front boards, and then I'm going to be able to answer any specific questions you guys want to ask. So what I'm going to do right now is draw up to these questions and get into it. I'll try to go through some of them pretty quick to keep up with you all. Charlie, it's me. You were here last week, I think. Right on. Glad to have you back. Splotcher, yet. Hello. Ryder Bruce, Never's the best. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate it. I love snowboarding, and I like helping you guys too. So thanks for being here. Snowboard, good morning from 2:30 a.m. here. Is that what country is that? ES, is that Spain? I'm not sure. From Europe, but don't know what country, but let me know what country you're at. Sploster, who is monitoring the comments? Me. I'm monitoring the comments, but I do have a couple of our team here in the background. You guys can say hi if you want. This is Hannah. So Hannah's doing a lot of our marketing, and this is Jesse over here. Jesse does a lot of everything. he does marketing, he does customer service, he does sales. But these guys are helping me out, so I'm not sure if they're watching comments or not. If I ask them to, they will, because they're good like that. But right now, I'm just monitoring the comments. So trying my best to keep up with them. This live stream thing's a new thing for us. This is our third one ever, and we're planning to do them every week. And well, if people like them, if people are loving them, we'll keep doing them. So it's 3:33 a.m. from Maxim. Charlie, you're out of here. No problem. Maxim, they should move Canada to the east. Well, we like it on the west. It's pretty awesome out here on the west. West is the best. I don't know. We get good snow out here. We get a lot more powder out here on the west coast than they do on the east coast. Sploshter, you guys are the best like ever. Thank you very much. We love snowboarding. Thanks for being here. Okay, Charlie, before I leave, I just want to thank you so much for everything that you have done for me and many other people. No problem, Charlie. You know, we do this every day, day in, day out. This is our office. We're in here. We've got about a month left of snowboarding here in Whistler, and I think we filmed about 30 or so of our high-quality tutorials this winter, which are all going to be released over the next year. Most of them haven't been edited yet. We've just done the filming, and lots more to come always, you know. If there's a need and a market for this and you guys are stoked, I'm just going to keep plowing out as many tutorials as we can. So Maxim says, hi Nev, please help. Sliding off my edges, lose traction on faster speeds, groomed slopes. Say, trying to ride an entire black run almost without braking, just changing edges as fast as possible. I'm going to read it through again and see if I can get the idea of what you're asking here. Hi Nev, please help. Sliding off my edges, lose traction on a faster speeds, groomed slopes. Say, trying to ride an entire black run almost without braking, just changing edges as fast as possible. Okay, well, I'll try my best to answer your question. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but it looks like you maybe are losing traction over your edges while you're riding at fast speeds. And I can tell you what that could be, and I can't tell without actually seeing your riding. So with this kind of detailed question, you guys can always email me clips of your riding, and I can try to review them here on the live stream. But if you are losing traction when you're riding high speeds, like losing your edges, so I'm just going to get into where you can see me here. Let's imagine I'm on a snowboard here. If my body weight is up on top of the board, that's where you're going to have the most balance. If for some reason your stance is not correct, like for example, it's quite common to see people snowboarding like this. What's going on here is their bum is actually too far back towards the heel edge. It's a common problem for people not using forward lean. So as a result, they're having to lean over with their upper body here to try to compensate, to try to keep that weight. That's not a very good snowboard position. If you are riding in this position, and the only way to really tell is to see your riding on video, that would be one example of where people may lose traction at high speeds because the weight of their body is not up on top of their board. So watch this. Right here, with my bum out like that, I've got too much weight towards my toe edge. If I take my bum forwards, and what I'm really doing is pushing my shins forward here, my knees forward, and my butt forward, and that's allowing me to straighten out my back. And now, as a result, the weight of my body is up on top of my board, but my upper body is still relatively upright. I'm not having to lean over because that's not a good snowboard position. That's a good snowboard position. I've still got the full suspension of my legs, but my upper body is more or less upright. So lots of mobility, lots of movement, lots of balance on the board. As soon as your body weight starts to get off balance of the board, that's where you're going to lose traction, especially at high speeds. So I don't know if that's your problem or not, but if you're losing balance over your edge, it generally means that for some reason your weight is not on top of the board or not where it should be. That's probably why you're losing balance. So hopefully that would try to help answer that question. Okay. So just continuing on with Maxim here, is there any sort of speed limit that cannot be beaten and eventually lead to sliding off your edge, meaning falling? So you should always be under that speed. No. There is no speed limit on a snowboard other than what gravity will resist you from going. But if your body position is not in a good position, you will lose control much more quickly. If you have a really strong, stable body position, what I mean is by centered over the board, your weight's centered over the board, your body's mostly aligned, your head's up, your back's up, your knees are spread, your weight's evenly spread over both feet. This is all aspects of a strong body position. You should be able to ride as strong and as fast as you want in that situation. If for any reason anything's off, like for example, let's say your weight's off, like let's say you're too far over the heel edge, as I was saying before, you hit a bump at high speed, you're going to crash. If you're leaning over too much, you hit a bump at high speed, you're going to lose balance. If you're too much over your back foot, you hit a bump at high speed, same thing, you're going to lose balance. It could be any number of different aspects. Yeah, hopefully that would help you there, Maxim. Well, such falling is only due to because of the rider's skills only to ride good enough. Yes, that is generally correct. You're not going to fall because you're going over a certain speed. You're going to fall because your body position is not where it should be and there's something off. So if you have some feedback of you falling at high speed, feel free to send it to me and I can tell you exactly probably why you fell if I can see it clearly enough. Okay, Sploshter. I just got a snowboard. Is there anything I need to do before I ride it? Well, you know what? Sploshter. As a result of feedback of these live streams, somebody asked us if they could make a video of how to set up a snowboard. And so we actually produced 3 videos in the last week of how to set up a snowboard and how to adjust your bindings. They aren't released yet, but they're going to be soon. It takes time. Doing these live streams is nice and quick, and I can answer your questions, straight away. But when we get a really good idea, which like the one that you guys sent us, we can go and make that vid, but sometimes it takes a couple of weeks for us to get it out. So it is coming out. If you don't want to wait for it, you could probably search into YouTube here how to set up a snowboard, and that will show you. Hopefully someone else has done one. I haven't actually checked. We have one coming out. It's going to be coming out soon, and it's got some good information in it. Dylan. Thank you, Nev. Super helpful tutorial videos. Great for visualizing and actualizing tricks. Thank you, Dylan. Stoked to have you here. And yeah, lots more to come always. We have a whole bunch of videos that we're in the process of editing that we filmed over the last winter. Dylan, how much is a Whistler Seasons Pass in US dollars? Hey, Hannah and Jesse. Oh, you got a shout out, Hannah and Jesse. You got somebody saying hi. To to answer your questions, a Whistler Seasons Pass is actually called an Epic Pass, which covers a lot of different resorts because Whistler is now owned by Vail Resorts. So with the Whistler/Vail/Epic Seasons Pass, you can ride, a whole lot of resorts. Tons in Colorado. You can get some days in Japan, some in Australia, some in Europe, some in Canada, a bunch in the States. Places like Vail, Breckenridge, North Star, Whistler Blackcomb, Stevens Pass. There's a whole bunch. I can't name them all because I don't know them all. But check it out. It's probably epicpass.com or something like that, or just Google Epic Pass. How much is it? It's $950 US. It's either $900 US or $950. So it's quite a big initial outlay, but if you're riding a lot in the season, it ends up being pretty cheap. So if you do a ton of days, it ends up not costing too much, which is awesome. Rider Bruce, how to practice 270 in and 270 out. Thanks for the question, Bruce. I might cover that today on the balance bar. In fact, I know that I promised I would do some more stuff on the balance bar here today. So what I'm going to do is quickly browse these questions, and then I'm going to teach front boards because I said I would teach that. And then after that, later on, I might cover your 270s in and 270s out on the balance bar because I'd love to cover that. That would be awesome. So I'm just going to quickly browse, see if there's anything crazy important to answer. Okay, so there's one question that relates to the thing I was teaching before. Drew Sloss. Drew Sloss. What's up, Nev? What's up? When you're popping up a feature into the back one, how much are you loading up beforehand, i.e. bending your knees? Okay, cool. So the reason I'm answering this one is because it relates to what I was teaching before. So we were doing 50-50 back ones. I'm not teaching the whole thing again because in the interest of time, but you can always watch the first 5 minutes of this live stream and we'll show you. Drew's asking, how much do I load up to pop the 180 up? That's a really good question. There's two answers. One, you can load up a lot and get a bunch of pop, or two, you don't have to load up at all if you don't want to. You can actually do a back 780 out of a 50-50 without popping at all. Let me show you how that's done. So, if I was going to 50-50 back one, which is what I'm doing right now, going up into the 50-50, and at the end of the feature, you're actually coming off the end of the feature, but you can slide your back one out with no pop at all. So 50-50, back one. So I didn't actually even pop. So to answer your question, like how much are you bending your knees to pop? You don't have to do it at all. If you want to add more style to your back one, you can pop out of your back one. For example, this is 50-50 back one, where I pop out. Now the difference is that looks better and it looks cooler. It is more advanced. Do you need to do it? No, you don't. So hopefully that answers your question. But when you're saying load up, for the back one out, you don't really need to load up with your legs. It's more about loading up with your upper body. And what I mean by that is I was talking about the counter-rotated 180 up. If you don't load up with your upper body, it's very hard to counter-rotate a 180 out. You might end up going like this, 50-50, and you might kind of try to get back one, but you only get a 90. And so what you got to do to load up is look at my upper body here. I get on the 50-50, and my upper body, my shoulders in particular, are twisting towards the tail of my board while I'm in the 50-50. I'm still looking forwards, but I'm twisted with the upper body here because that allows me to counter-rotate that 180 out a lot better. If you do not preload with that upper body towards your tail, it's harder to get that back one out the end. So that's more important than the legs, is what you're doing with that upper body. 50-50, upper body is loading, looking where I'm going, back one out using counter rotation. So that was to answer Drew's question. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to get in and teach front boards because I just wanted to give you another example of a different thing you can try again. For anyone who's new on here right now, if you have a setup, get it out. If you don't have a setup, make one, build one, because you can train snowboarding all summer long or all winter long in your living room and build these different positions into your body. Start to get that repetition in your muscles so that when you go on the mountain, it's going to be easier for you and quicker to learn these tricks. So yeah, let's do front boards. So we have the jib board, balance bar, and I'm going to start off just on the blue feature because that's easier. And then after you get on the blue feature, I'm going to add the white top piece because the white top piece makes it more challenging. So, frontside boardslide is called a frontside boardslide because as you approach the rail, it's generally on the front side of you, in front of you. This is what a front board looks like. So I'm actually sliding. I'm regular, so I'm riding this way, and I'm actually sliding down the hill backwards, but I'm still looking where I'm going. So if you see, right now, I'm looking where I'm going. I'm looking kind of down that arm, and I can see. I come back out to regular. So, like before, we were doing the 50-50 back one with counter rotation. This is another trick that uses counter rotation because you rotate into the trick and counter rotate back out of the trick. You actually counter rotate into the trick and counter rotate back out. So you kind of change directions. So if you watch this, one direction, opposite direction. So front board, you can practice it just at home. You don't even have to have a board on. In fact, yeah. For all you guys that are standing there with no board or anything, let's do it. Stand like you're on a snowboard. Okay, you're going to jump into a position where you'd be sliding down the hill backwards. But look at my upper body. I've got like front arms out this way. My front arms actually towards going where I'm going. My back arm's here. And I'm kind of looking where I'm going. That's how I'm sliding. So my board and my feet are perpendicular to what my upper body is doing. That's why it's counter rotation, because there's a lot of twisting going on. Twisting here in the core muscles. So if you do this a lot and you haven't done it much before, you might feel like you just had an ab workout because this is where all these muscles are. So, lined, riding downhill, jumping, front board, back to regular. Now, I want you to pay attention to what's happening with my upper body and lower body, because what happens is, as I go into the front board, it twists, untwists, twists, untwists. So here we go. I'm getting ready to jump in the front board. My upper body goes a little bit towards my tail, jump in, twist into the front board, untwist out to regular. Twist into the front board, untwist out to regular. Twist into the front board, untwist into regular. That motion is how you learn front boards. And it's a really awkward feeling thing if you've never done it before. So I'm going to get back on the board because this is going to make it even look and feel more like snowboarding, and it's going to incorporate balance at the same time. So I'll do it without the bar first, just on the ground. You can practice this still. As I'm getting prepared for that front board, watch what happens to my upper body. It comes back a little bit. And why it does that, it allows it room to counter rotate into the front board. Jump, counter rotate into the front board. I'm sliding right now. I'm sliding backwards. I'm looking downhill as I slide into the feature, coming back out the forwards. Here we go onto the balance bar, jumping up, sliding, back out. Sliding, back out. Front board, counter rotation, counter rotate back out. And then, as you really want to start getting your balance on, the white piece is going to challenge you. I'm also on the jib board. It's more slippery, so it gives you a more realistic feel. So you have to be better at your balancing. All this is going to do is make it more difficult. You might see my legs shake a little bit. That's because it's building those muscles. It's toning them. It's getting them ready for balancing on a snowboard. Jumping up, front board, back out. Front board, back out. Winding Move my arms a little bit towards the tail, counter rotating into the front board, counter rotate back out. So that is frontside boardslide. Now I'm going to get back in and I'm going to answer a bunch of your questions, both to do with the front board and anything else. And then we will do another training session, let's say in 10 minutes. Catch my breath here, and we'll do another little training session on something else. Hey, Dylan. So Dylan's asking where he can get a blue plastic rail like that. Well, I got a treat for you, buddy. It's snowboardaddiction.com. It's our website. We sell them. You can also make them. Our ones are clean, light, strong, and but yeah, you can make your own or you can buy ours. Same with the jib boards and stuff. So I'm going to scroll up to where I left off questions before. Okay. So the Snowboard guy says he's from northern Germany near Hamburg. Jizu says, do you guys provide private lessons in Whistler? You know what, G, I used to be a snowboard instructor with the Whistler Blackcomb Snowboard School. But these days I'm focusing more on doing the videos because I can reach more people. So we're not really doing any private lessons anymore. But one thing we are doing is if we see people on the mountain and we're up there filming, we will sometimes do a lap or two with them and make a little video where we can improve one aspect of your riding. So we've done a bunch of them this year that we haven't finished editing yet. But that's one way that people can come up. And if you see me on the mountain in Whistler, you can always come and say hi. But if you want to get a private lesson, it's probably best just to go with the Whistler Blackcomb Snowboard School. Steve M. My ollies are lame. What can I do to get more height? Cool. Steve, we have a video on ollies which explains how to get more flex into your board, into your snowboard. Because with an ollie, the more bend you get into the board, the more it flexes and wants to bounce back. In fact, I'll show you. So this is a snowboard. The more flex I get in the board, the more it wants to pop back into its regular shape. So flex, pop. So it's the exact same idea with ollies, is that you need to be able to get flex into the tail of your board. So check out that video. It's got some good stuff in it. We also are remaking it. We filmed it again this year. And how you get that flex in your board is really with your hips. If you keep your hips in the center of your feet, it's very hard to flex your board. So you actually have to move your hips back towards the tail of your board to be able to get a point where the board's bending. That's where you're going to get that optimal flex for the ollie. Dylan, Nev, your style is so relaxed and balanced. Did you happen to skate or surf before shredding? In fact, Dylan, I've done all three. When I was a kid, I skated a lot. I also snowboarded a lot, and I did a medium amount of surfing when I was growing up, and I still love surfing as well. Don't get to do it as much as I'd like, but definitely want to spend more time surfing in the future. But thank you. Lots of time on the snowboard as well, which is one of the reasons that it looks smooth. Hey, Nev, what are your top 3 favorite mountains to ride besides Whistler Blackcomb? William, I really love Japan. I've been there twice. It's amazing. Great powder snow. Man, it's cool. I would like to go there again next year. I also love the food over there, and the people are really nice too. So that's one of my favorite spots for sure. I also would really like to go to Alaska. I've never been to Alaska. I'd love to go snowboarding up there on some of those big mountain lines that you see in the videos. That would be pretty rad. Other favorite resorts. Japan's definitely my other favorite. I've been to some places in Colorado that were cool, like Breckenridge and Aspen and Keystone. Didn't like them as much as Whistler, but they're still pretty cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope that answers the question. Do you go skateboarding? Red Bull. Not so much anymore. I used to a lot as a kid. I think the main reason I don't skate anymore is I just kept busy with life. So I haven't had enough time to skate. So, yeah, maybe one day I'll get a bit more time. I do more mountain biking, actually, because in Whistler here, we have a really good mountain bike park in summer. The mountain turns into, basically, you can take your bike up the lifts. So I do a lot more mountain biking. It just seems to be more of my friends are into mountain biking these days than skateboarding. Although we do have a good skate park in town. Dylan, aloha. Maxim, thanks a lot. It's 3 a.m. in Latvia, close to Russia, and I used alarm to wake me up just to watch this. How to Improve Your Riding is the best video on YouTube for intermediate snowboarders. Thank you, Maxim. Stoked. That's great feedback. We love that video, and I'd like to try to make some more like that next year on intermediate riding skills and tactics. Snowboard, cheap seasons pass, but very expensive renting a room, I think. $1,000 is not as expensive. You're right. You know, the seasons pass here, it's not too bad, especially if you ride a lot. The town itself is pretty expensive. You know, accommodation, food, all the rest of the stuff around here is pretty expensive. It's not too bad once you get set up and live here. You find a good place to live, you rent it year round, and it's not too bad. But when you come here just for winter, it's extremely hard to get accommodation because lots of people want to come here just for winter. So yeah, it's tricky. Dylan, appreciate the body awareness fundamentals that you reinforce in your tutorials. Living room carpet shredding is part of my morning workout year round. Thank you, Dylan. Stoked. And where do you get a place to grow like that? On our website. Check out all the products we have, snowboardaddiction.com. Ryan Stott, I'm paranoid of catching an edge with board slides. How irrational is this fear? What is a good way to prevent it from ever happening? Okay, Ryan. It is actually very rare to catch an edge when you're doing board slides unless you're sliding a wooden rail, which is, it's very uncommon to have wooden rails. But when you had something like wood, the edge of a snowboard's metal and it can dig into wood. But on 99% of the boxes and rails that you're going to find in terrain parks, it's hard plastic or metal, and your edge is not going to dig in and catch it unless you're on a kinked rail, which is different. But it's pretty irrational fear. I've been snowboarding for 25 years and don't know if I've ever caught an edge on a rail. Unless you're like, okay, so this is the rail, this is your snowboard. If your base is flat with the rail or the box, that's when it's not going to catch. If you, for some reason, didn't have a flat base, yeah, I guess you could technically catch an edge, but it's still kind of unlikely because you're sliding metal on metal, unless the metal has some kind of burr or divot or something that allows you to catch that edge. Otherwise, what's probably going to happen is it's just going to keep slipping and flatten out the base. So it's very, very uncommon. What is common is people slipping out backwards on rails. For example, you're going to go onto a board slide. I'm going to demonstrate this to show you. So this is very common. So let's say this is my rail here. I'm regular. And if I jump onto a board slide, that's a backside board slide where I'm sliding downhill. It's very, very common to see people slip out onto their bump. And why they do that is they jump into their board slide and their weight's too far back. The board's not flat with the rail. You're going to slip out very quickly onto your bump. It is extremely uncommon to see anyone board slide a rail and catch their edge. It just doesn't happen. And if it does, there's probably something wrong with that rail, because metal on metal doesn't really catch. So it's all about getting into whatever feature you're doing and keeping your body weight central on top of the board and the feature, so that your board is sliding flat with the feature. So I'll give you an example. This is my snowboarder. This is my rail. If the rail is flat, you can have your body weight up and down like this. But if the rail is downhill, the box is downhill, see how my snowboarder now has to lean forward the same direction as that rail. So downhill box, lean downhill with the box. If you don't lean downhill with the box, you're going to slip out. You need to lean your body weight and match it to the same angle as any feature that you're sliding. That's how you'll stay in balance. And the best way to get used to this, Ryan, is start out with 50-50s, because you're not going to catch your edge on 50-50s. So get real comfortable with 50-50s and then slide your way into board slides. There's a technique I've used in some of my tutorials where you go 50-50 and you shuffle the board into the board slide. The shuffle motion gives you the feeling of being flat with the 50-50 and keeping the board flat into the board slide. So try out that shuffle. You can even do this, 50-50, and shuffle the board back and forth just to make sure that you're keeping it flat. Lewis for apps. Hey Nev, when the park is super busy, Whistler, and you come up to a feature with lots of people waiting, you get in line but nobody is going, so you go. Would you say this is fair or call that snaking? Man, that is totally fair. That is more than fair. If I go into the park and there's a bunch of people standing around doing nothing, I don't want to wait for all those people who are doing nothing anyway. If you can go and hit the feature without cutting someone off or getting in the way of the others, hit that feature. That's keeping the flow in the park. And it's important to keep the flow because otherwise you get a whole bunch of people standing around doing nothing. I mean, like, it's nice to be able to flow your tricks together where you're like one feature, one feature, one feature. You don't have to stop in between each feature. So that is definitely not snaking unless somebody else is dropping in to hit the feature and you snake in front of them. That's snaking. A bunch of people standing around, you find a gap and you go, all good, no problem. Brandon Hill. Hi, Nev. Having a hard time coming out of the board side at the end of the feature. Any tips? So, Brandon, let me discuss that and show everybody at the same time. So, board slide. I'm not sure if you're doing front board or back board. This here is back board. And this one here, because it's in front of me, is front board. Front board, I'm sliding backwards down the hill. Now, if you get into a front board, you'll see that my upper body and my lower body are twisted. My lower body's this way, my upper body's this way. Having that position is what makes it easy to get back out to regular in the feature, because all you do is you take your arms back and it brings the legs, it twists the body against each other. Same thing if you're doing it the other way. Jumping into the board slide, see how right now my arms are kind of this way, my lower body's this way, but my upper body's kind of this way? Into the feature, boom. So I'll do it without the rail to make it more clear. Watch the twisting. Twist, 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 twist. That's how you twist back out the end. If you twist, but then relax, it's hard to come back out at the end because you've got nothing to twist against. So having this twisted position allows you to twist back out at the end. So if you jump in and board slide and then relax and you're neutral, you just come off the end. It's hard to twist it back out. You need to be in this position where the upper body and the lower body are displaced so that you can, boom, bring it back. So get yourself a balance bar, build one yourself or buy ours on our website and practice that, and you will feel what it's like to bring it back at the end. Oops. Dylan, have you ever shredded Snowboard? I have not. I've heard it's good. I'd like to one day, but I haven't. Peter, I hope you can catch you on the mountain once. I hope I can catch you too. Make sure if you see us in Whistler to say hi. Merch and merchandise. Sorry, I thought this was a name, but I guess it's not. Could you make a new video on doing hand plants? Love the vids. Thank you very much. Good idea. We have an old one. I'd like to redo a new one. It revolves around having the right feature to do it on, because hand plants are very much, they work best on quarter pipes. And we didn't have a quarter pipe at Whistler Blackham this year, so we didn't have anything to film any hand plants on. I do love quarter pipes. If they build one next year, I will try my best to do a video on hand plants because it's a cool, fun feeling trick. Peter, tell Saxon, don't forget about me. Well, Peter, I have some unfortunate news for you. Is Saxon has actually left snowboard addiction. He is moving home to Australia. So you'll just have to deal with new Saxon. This is Jesse, aka one of the new Saxons. So you can send all your requests by email, info@snowboardaddiction.com, and Jesse will get back to you. Or Hannah. or ollie. Commander AMG coming to you live from Mountain Mama, West Virginia. How's it going? Good to have you here. Lester, you were talking about speed earlier. I was wondering if it's important to always keep an edge on your snowboard, or can you ride flat as long as your stance is balanced right to keep from falling? Lester, you can definitely ride with a flat base. If your stance is right, you can ride full speed, flat base, no problem at all. In fact, riding with a flat base is the fastest way to gain speed. If you're turning, you will be always on edge because that's how you turn, is using the edges of your snowboard. But you do not need to be on edge to go fast and keep balance. Flat base, no problem. I know earlier on, one of the customers asked if we could teach 270s in. So I'm going to try to get to that. In fact, I got 20 minutes left in this live chat. I'm going to quickly slam through a couple of these questions. Then I'm going to do some 270s, teach you guys some techniques for 270s. And then you guys can feel free to ask more questions on the 270s as well. Drew, I was able to 50-50 shuffle into the front board position this season, but struggled to get straight into the front board, particularly on boxes. Thoughts on where to be looking when getting on feature? Best place to look when you're getting onto the feature is actually to look at the end of the feature. So you're kind of lining it up and looking all the way where you want to be at the end. That's what gives you that direction you need. If you focus on the start of the feature, sometimes you'll fall off early because you're not focusing on where you want to go. So definitely keep looking where you want to get to that end result. Setting body at same down angle plus accuracy of foot placement proved difficult. So yeah, setting body at the same down angle is difficult. It's a psychological difficulty because what happens is when you're snowboarding, you're on edge. So if you turn a snowboard, you're kind of leaning back by default. If you lean back on a box or a rail, you're going to crash. You're going to slip out. It's different than turning. So you need to be able to put your weight downhill at the same angle as that feature. And one way of helping with that is to get low with your stance. So if you jump into a rail feature and you're all extended like this, it's more likely that you're going to slip out because you lean back and you just slip out. But if you get into a feature and you're low, like let's get into a board slide and stay low, that brings your center of gravity down towards the feature, which means that you're less likely to slip out on the feature. So, for example, if I come into a board slide, low and forward, back out. Low and forward, back out. Getting low is going to help with getting your weight forward as well. Foot placement. Foot placement's a whole different topic because there's so many different types of foot placement. Like, let me give you an example. So going back to the frontside boardslide example, you can do a front board over the middle of your board where you're sliding right in the middle. You can do it over the front foot where you're sliding over the front foot, or you can do it over the back foot, but it's called a different trick. If you jumped all the way into a front board on the back foot, that's actually called a front blunt because it's a blunt slide where you're ollieing right over the feature to the tail of your board. The physical movement is very similar to a front board. It's just a different naming, sliding over different parts of the feature. Let me show you something about foot placement. And I'll demonstrate it by popping this on. Okay, where your foot placement is on the rail doesn't necessarily matter. It's more about where your body weight is. So if you're in a 50-50, so right now, my weight's on top of the rail. That's why I'm balanced right now and I can just stand here. If you're on a front board, so if you're on a front board and your weight's in the center, right now I've got one part of the board on each side of the rail. It's hard to speak and do this at the same time. And my weight's on top of the feature. If I was to slide on the nose of my board, the weight of my body is still directly on top of the feature. The only thing that's happened is that I've changed where I'm pushing my board out. So what's this? Nose, center, tail. So get up into the thing, nose, center, tail. Nose. So the key thing is, as long as your weight is on top, then you'll be balanced over the feature. As soon as your weight's not on top, you're going to fall off to one side or the other. So moving over different parts of the different foot positions is just where you're pushing your board with your lower body. So you'll see, doing that, my upper body weight's still on top of the feature, my legs are moving. Whew. Getting puffed here. A lot of talking. I'm going to talk for like an hour straight. Whew. Snowbird needs a park like Whistler's. We have all perfectly sloped terrain for a world-class park like Whistler. Any suggestions for the Snowbird higher-ups? Well, I'm a fan of parks because when the snow's not good, you can go and ride the park. Like when the snow's good and it's powder, we just go free ride. You know, we ride trees, we ride pow, we ride bowls, we ride whatever backcountry. When the snow's not that great, we ride park because it's fun. You're jumping, you're jibbing, you're riding pipe, you're hitting rails and boxes, you're doing 360s. It's a good way to keep, snowboarding exciting even when the snow's not that good. I'm surprised they don't have a park because I thought they would realize that, but I guess maybe they don't want the younger demographic of skiers and snowboarders, because it's generally the younger demographic of skiers and snowboarders who are interested in riding the terrain park. Most old people, not all, because I know that some of you guys are probably not young. Most old people don't like riding the park, and I think that's because they don't want to get injured. And it's a fact. If you're going to be doing more freestyle stuff, you are more likely to get injured. So if you are, take it easy, take it slow, learn in a slow, progressive manner so you can prevent any injuries. So snowboard higher-ups, build your park, man. Hello from Siberia. I rolled in the tube and used all the tips from you. Thanks. Now I dream to roll in the pipe. It is a pity that spring has come. Yeah, spring has come, but we'll have winter again next year, and it rolls around pretty quick. So, train up in summer, get on the tramps, get on your balance bar, and do some skateboarding or whatever sports you have close to you that are board related, and we'll be back into winter again before you know it. Brandon Hill, thank you. I'm probably relaxing and losing that counter rotation. Yes, that is probably what's happening. Queer. You guys are the I know what that means. Great tutorials, very helpful. Any tip for a shifty plus rotation? Watching from Chile. Shifty plus rotation. So I'm assuming you're talking about shifty 180s, probably. Shifty 180s. Shifty plus rotations. Let me show people what a shifty 180 is. So a shifty, for a start, for anyone who doesn't know, is where you get into the air, you shift the board, and you shift back in the air. So in two movements, it looks like that. But when you actually go for a jump, it goes all in one movement, where you shift the board back. There's obviously two ways you can do it. You can do it front side, you can do it back side. And so with a shifty, if you get tricky, you can start to do shifty 180s, or even you can do shifty 360s or shifty 540s. But to give you an example, 180 would look like this, where you shifty and you have so much counter rotation that you can 270 degrees out. So it's like 90 degrees in, 270s out. Shift 90 degrees in. To do a normal shifty, you have to have a medium amount of counter rotation. So normal shifty. To do a shifty with 180, you have to have a hell of a lot of counter rotation. So for example, a lot of counter rotation, 270 up, because there's a lot more twist that's happening. I'm going to try to show you on the board. Okay, so this is a normal shifty, and it's much better on a trampoline because you have a lot more time to do this. This is a shifty 180. Didn't get the full way around, and it's quite quick here, so it's not the ideal way to show you. But we do have a video on it on trampolines, and we have one on the mountain too with shifty 180s. So if you're going to start, bottom line is, if you want to get shifty 180s, get really good at shifties first. And then you have to do the shifties a lot more counter rotation to be able to get that 270 up. And get on a trampoline because you can really feel that movement now of how to get that 270 out. It works really well on a trampoline. It simulates it very similar to how it feels on a snowboard. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to bounce these questions as quick as I can because I want to get in and do a couple of 270s on the balance bar. I'm just going to take my hoodie off because it's hot. Whew. Doing all this bouncing around on the balance bar here is getting the blood flowing. So I'm probably a bit more sweaty than you guys here. Hey, Hannah. People are asking if you're single. I don't know. Are you single, Hannah?
No, totally attached.
No, see, you're making her blush, guys. She says she's totally attached. So, yeah, I don't know. You have to email info@snowboardaddiction.com and ask her. Lester, thanks. Was my first season snowboarding and wasn't sure about it. No problem, buddy. Dylan, hey, Nev, you said that you say what board brands, models you ride, like sizes? Yeah, sure. So board size really depends on your size. So I'm 5'9", about 150 pounds. And I ride generally 153s to 157s. So if I'm riding park, I'm riding a 53 or a 54. And if I'm riding powder, I'm riding a 56 or a 57. That little bit of extra length kind of helps the float in the POW. And generally, if I'm riding deep POW, I'm riding a POW shaped board. So one of the boards that I ride in the POW is called the Burden Speed Date. And I also have one from a few years ago called the Burden Juice Wagon, a really nice floaty board in the POW. The ones I'm riding in the park right now are Snowboard Addiction boards, which are boards that we get made in the same factory where our tramp boards get made. They're just twin tip all mountain freestyle boards, which are great park boards. They twin tip boards I like because you can ride them the same if you're riding regular or switch. So it's really good for 180s, buttering, 540s, jibbing, coming out switch, all the rest. I ride regular camber boards. I don't really like the reverse camber and stuff. I like the responsiveness of how regular camber feels. NorCal Base, love your stuff, brother. God bless and keep it up. Thank you very much. Snowboard, I feel like I can frontside blunt first. Try next time in the park. Someone call the ambulance, please. Just try it on small features, snowboard. Don't step it up to anything crazy. Small boxes, things that are safe. Play around, feel out the different positions with your legs. You don't need to go out in the ambulance. Keep it simple. Dylan, we have a small park, but nothing like Whistler's. Yeah, Whistler has a really good park. I'm thinking of buying a park board. What do you think of the GNU Headspace? I have not rode any GNU boards, so I don't actually know, but I believe they're pretty good. I think they're made by Mervyn Manufacturing, which is based in Washington, United States. But they make LibTech as well, and I think from what I know, they're really good boards, so probably pretty sweet. Maybe check out the reviews online for that board. Any input on DPS Phantom never wax again system? Nope, I haven't used it. What do you think? Is it good? I don't know. I mean, if they send me some stuff, I'll try it out and give them a review. But I don't know. I don't know what it is, to be honest. William, how long does Whistler season go until? Do you enjoy spring, summer riding with the slushy snow? So Whistler season goes from mid-November till the end of May. So it's about 6 months. Nice long season. It's pretty awesome. This time of year, April, May, it's definitely slushy park runs. There's not much powder anymore. Sometimes there is, but most of the time it's slushy park. And is it fun? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Slushy park stuff's great fun. You're saying you prefer icy runs. Yeah, I definitely prefer slush over ice, but winter conditions, I like midwinter conditions. Even the park conditions in midwinter are good, where just the jumps are groomed and they're kind of like non-ice but firm. I love that condition because it just stays real consistent. Artem, what are your plans for next year? What will you shoot? Will the channel change? Yeah, man, we got so many plans. I mean, even this year, we've probably filmed 30 or so snowboard tutorials that are just going to take time for us to edit and release. Lots of stuff coming out. One thing we're doing is we're trying to do more kind of quick videos where it's just someone asks us a question and I make some cool video about it. So feel free to give us feedback of the stuff you want to see, and we'll do our best to make it. Even during summer, we're going to be making videos. We're going to make some balance bar tutorials. We're going to make some tramp training tutorials, and there'll be a little bit of glacier footage as well, snowboarding on the glacier here. Marco. Whoa, it's already 6:30. Man, the time's flying. Okay, we've got 3 minutes left. I'm going to answer these questions. I'm going to do a couple of quick 270s, and we're done. Hi, Nev. Long time. Oh, per usual, you're a legend. Thank you very much. We appreciate the amazing content and advice. Thank you. That was Marco. Illuminari. Hey, Nev. Long-time fan. Usually, you guys taught me 3 both days, probably both ways. Thank you. Stoked. Artem. We are at the closing of the session, closing of the season, 18-19. We installed a 27-meter railing and set down immortelles. It was funny, but a lot of people didn't get to the end. Man, that sounds like a long rail. That's 27 meters. Wow, that's awesome. I'd love to try it. I don't know if I'd get to the end, but I'd give it a good shot. Luminari, I'm currently stepping it up to a 5. I've landed 5s, both front and back, but I feel like I'm doing a 3, and if I have enough time, last minute 180. And yeah, that's pretty normal. When you first 5s, you, especially like backside, you do a back 3 and you slap a last minute back 180 on. That's kind of how you learn back 5s. As you get better and you get more rotation, you start to relax it, you get more air time, you're able to get that full 5 round in one smooth movement. So yeah, keep practicing until it becomes easier. Is this correct, or should I be initiating the 5 from the takeoff? Yeah, you're definitely initiating a 5 from the takeoff. If you're doing a 3 and slapping a back 1 on the end, that's okay. But as you get better, you get better rotation off the jump. Your body's rotating more smoothly. You're getting more air. You're getting a better release. You will get to the point where a 5 is happening more naturally and more easily for you. So I've been doing 360 with a late 180. Yep, no problem. Does this Epic Pass cover summer mountain biking? No, it doesn't. It's just winter. You have to buy a separate seasons pass for summer. Thanks for all the tips and have a nice week. Thank you very much. Okay, last thing I'm going to quickly do. I'm not going to answer any more questions, but I'm just going to give you like 2 minutes of 270s onto the balance bar to show you guys some 270s because someone asked that and I said I'd get to it. So thanks everyone for being part of this live stream. I'll do a couple of videos here. We're going to do this every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. PST Pacific time. And feel free to join us. Feel free to email us with any questions. And feel free to email us with any ideas of different videos you'd like us to make. So here's a couple of 270s. So got the jib board, you got the balance bar. Now, if you're going to be doing 270s in, Make sure you got your 180s in first. It's a lot safer to learn 180s first. I'm going to go straight to 270s today to just show you, because keeping it stoked till the end of the video here. I'm going to start with a backside 270 in. So I'm going to rotate backside like a back one in, but a little bit more to get the 270. So this is the back one in with a backside 180 up. This time I'm going to go for a 270. That's backside 270 in. Would have liked to be able to hold it a little bit longer in a balanced position. That one was a little bit better. I'm on the jib board here, so it's a little bit slipperier. If I was actually training this up, I'd chuck the white piece on too, because that's going to make it even harder. But I don't want to take slams in front of the video, so keep it easy on the blue piece here. Backside 270 in. Now I'm going to do a frontside 270 in. So this time I'm going to frontside spin. So it's like doing a front one, but I'm going to do a little bit more than a front one. 270 in. Frontside and one more. Frontside 270 in. Had good balance on that one. Okay. So that's the end of our live stream today. 1 hour live chat. Stoked to be able to answer your questions. Thanks for coming. And feel free to join us again next week. And I'll answer your questions on snowboarding and snowboard technique. Cheers. This is Lapwood from Snowboard Addiction. Our goal is to improve your riding.